Good morning. Well, it's morning here, and I actually love this setup with the bright light up there in the corner for this video because it's like the light. I want to offer you a way to bring so much more light and love into your daily life with your kids and into their own hearts and into their minds. And so the challenge is to always say yes. Always. Always, always, always say yes. I'll explain something behind me in a moment. You can see all that wood standing up there. I'll show you that in a few moments. Always say yes. I got a chance to look at a homework assignment my daughter wrote recently, and it made me cry, harder than anything I've ever seen her write. She's 11. She just turned 11. And the assignment was to write about someone that you admire. And so she chose me. I can feel the tears swelling. And two of the things that she wrote that really, it was like a gift from God saying yes to me, was that Dad always tries to find a way and that he always looks for the yes. Now, I've never told my kids to always look for the yes, but I've always parented from the place of never saying no and always saying yes. Now, a lot of parents, when I was younger and my kids were younger, thought I was crazy, and it freaks them out a little bit to hear, like, what do you mean always say yes? You need to discipline a kid and tell them no, and there needs to be boundaries and da 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 da. And honestly, to me, that sounds a lot like prison or many schools. And prison and most schools aren't a place where kids flourish and expand and where their creative minds explode and where great relationships are built. But when you say yes, those things happen. And so I have some notes here because I didn't want to miss anything. So let me just pull up my notes because this is something that I am really, really passionate about, saying yes to our kids. Okay, so first of all, it feels so good to say yes, does it not? Yes. And if you know anything about the law of attraction, or you believe in that, or you just like to feel good, say yes more with your kids. And if you think about it, look at some of the peak moments of people's lives when they're winning a championship game, or they win the lottery, or something great happens, or they get the job that they want, or a totally different kind of climax altogether. A lot of us will yell the word yes because it feels good. It feels so good. So one, as a parent, we deserve to feel good. So even if our kid does spill something, if we go yes, we're automatically feeling a little better about that thing rather than like, oh shit, that's going to spill and get on the carpet. But yes. And so we get to feel good. Our child gets so many no's already from the world. They're going to get a lot of no's. They're going to get a lot of no's. There are a lot of natural no's, right? If you have a 4-year-old and he has a 7-year-old, the 7-year-old gets to go on a sleepover and the 4-year-old gets to hear no from the universe. They don't have to hear the word from you, right? Or from me. They don't have to hear it. They experience no's all the time. They go to an amusement park, no, they're not tall enough to ride this ride. So there's plenty of no's. Us as parents, we don't have to be on the no team. We want to be on the yes team. And so what happens in so many different ways, and hopefully I'll talk about a bunch of them here, what happens in so many different ways is take the child who spills the cup. The second they spill the cup, if they hear from you, yes, first of all, they get the gift of not feeling what so many children feel when they spill something and their parents like, yeah, or whatever it is that you do when your child spilled something. They get to see, yeah, Okay. And they get to see you smile, which means you're raising a child that's not going to grow up crying over spilt milk. The cooler, even cooler thing in this scenario is I want you, I need you to understand that our kids are always learning something, that everything sends a message. They're always learning something. And it's usually not the thing that you think they're learning. So, when they spill something, they're trying to pour, my kids are 11 and 9, they don't have this issue anymore. But, when they were younger and they're holding that, it's shaking and they're shaking, both things are shaking and they're trying to pour, man. That's like them trying to climb Mount Everest or something. That's them getting out and taking a risk, right? So they spill and we are like, oh no, that's not how you do it. And we might try to teach them how to pour a glass of juice, but that's not what they're learning there. What they're really learning there is about making mistakes or taking risks or doing something that's slightly uncomfortable for them and whether or not they can handle it. So if we come down and say no, we're not necessarily saying in their brains, they're not associating, oh no, that's not the right way to pour a glass of juice. They're likely associating, I did something wrong. No, that's bad. They're likely associating, they might even be associating, I shouldn't try to pour a glass of water by myself or to pour juice by myself. So that's something really, really important to understand, that our children are always learning. When I was 26, I started karate, and I had the best teacher in the world, Mr. Matt Becker. And I'd spent like 3 weeks seeking out a good teacher for me. I just moved to California from New Jersey. I was living my dream of being like the Karate Kid, and which is ironic because I was a 26-year-old man living my dream of a 16-year-old. I guess it was my inner 16-year-old who wanted to get out of Jersey and get out here to California. And anyway, I found this amazing teacher, and he taught me so much about life, about karate, and about teaching and parenting. And one day, I was always really hard on myself, and I wanted to be the best in the studio at karate. And so one day I went up to him and I said, "Hey, Mr. Becker, how come you never tell me what I'm doing wrong?" And he laughed. He's like, "Oh," he had this little chuckle. He laughed, and then he said, "Because if I told you all of the things you're doing wrong, you would quit." And I was like, "What?" I thought about that for a second. I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You do so many things wrong. There's so many things wrong that you're doing that I can say, no, that's not right. That if I told you every time, you'd walk out of here, you'd quit, you'd get overwhelmed." I was like, holy shit, that's pretty deep. And he was right. So one of the ways he taught, by the way, was if he said, like, he would say it in Korean, but if he was like, do a low block, and instead of going low block, I went into a high block, right? He would say, yes, that's right, low block. And then he would model for me the correct form, but his words were, yes, that's right, because he knew that he was acknowledging for me my effort. He wasn't acknowledging the thing that I did. It's never freaking about the thing that we do. We'll learn. Your kids will learn. Your kids will learn. There are very few 40-year-olds walking around picking their nose and then eating their boogers. There's very few of us out there who do that. Despite what you tried to teach your kids, they will learn. Society will shape them. They will outgrow things. They will learn. We don't have to tell them all the things they're doing wrong. And every time we say no, it's like, no, stop. Don't do that. That's wrong. That's a wrong thought. That's a wrong request. That's a wrong idea. So the more we can say yes, the more magical life can be. So in that moment, my instructor, Mr. Becker, he's rewarding my effort. And then he's just showing me Yes, that's right. Low block. And my brain gets it without having to feel wrong. Now, so let's go back to my daughter Bella and her saying that I always look for the yes and I always try to find a way. That's true. But I never told her these things. I've just shown them to her over the years by my commitment to always say yes and never say no. And I'm pretty positive it wasn't until she was about 7 that they ever even heard the word no out of my mouth. You might think that's a little crazy, or maybe not. Maybe you're on board with me on this. But I reserve the right to say no for little stupid things that their heart and their spirit isn't invested in. Dad, can we watch a movie tonight? It's like the day before. It's like the night before the first day of school. Dad, can we watch a movie tonight? No. I might say that. And you know what? It would be even better if I said, yeah, you can watch a movie tonight. However, I love you too much to allow that to be our reality. Because tomorrow's the first day of school, and I know you want to be well rested and have a lot of energy, and that you haven't been in school for a while. So it's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of new energy, and you resting is the best thing for you. Plus, I want to be well prepared, pack your lunch, do all these things, and that's what I want to do tonight while you're asleep. So we're going to get you to sleep on time. And what movie is it that you wanted to watch? Oh, I don't know. I was just thinking about watching. Well, it's not a movie. I wanted to watch a show. I wanted to watch Inspector Gadget. All right. Well, how about this? On Friday night, after your first successful week of school, we'll watch 3 Inspector Gadgets. So in this moment, I never said no. I said yes, which is even better. Now, as 2 kids came along and things got more complicated, it's easier and faster to say no. But it's such a gift. It's such a gift to say yes. It's a gift to your child. It's a gift to us as parents to just say yes. And it feels so good. So, I just love this. It's such a good relationship builder. I think that's what made me so proud when my daughter, when I read that in my daughter's homework assignment, that Dad always looks for the yes, and he always finds a way, or always looks for a way. Because to me, it makes me feel like she knows I care about her, which might be my own projection from my own childhood and stuff. But if you think about it, when you go to a classy restaurant or a 5-star hotel or any place that has phenomenal customer service, or you own a business, you know that it's not a good idea to say no to our customers. We reserve the right to say no to people for when it's like serious. If you have a customer come in and they throw a racial slur, that's when you can say, you know what? No, that kind of behavior we don't do here. But when a customer comes and says, hey, do you guys have any steak? We train our staff. We train people to not say no, to work around the word no, because we know it doesn't feel good to hear the word no, no, no. The energy in that is like, ugh, yes. It's such a better energy. And so, so think about that. 5-star hotels, people don't say no. They work around it. Hey, do you guys have any steak? You're looking for some steak? What is it about the steak you're looking for? Yes, we can get you some steak. We can order it from the restaurant next door because we have run out of all of our steak. So we have delicious and amazing lobster, if you'd like some lobster. What is it you're craving tonight? Is it red meat, or is it something thick you want to sink your teeth into? Because the lobster is amazing. All that without saying the word no. No is like a lazy man's like, no, we don't have that. Think about it. That's the bad waiter who's like, no. And then you're left there feeling like, well, 1, you don't care about me. 2, I don't know anything about my options in life. What can I do? What can I do? We want to condition our kids to look for the yes. When we use the word yes with our kids a lot, it teaches them to negotiate. It teaches them to look for the yes in their life. It teaches them to always find a way. It's literally programming their brain and their neurons to make connections, and it feels so good. I'm going to search my notes real quickly to see what other, young children, when they're learning something new, they want to know that they're doing it right. Right? Like when a kid's learning to do something, they look up so much at the adult. They're looking for confirmation. They're not stupid. They know that they're trying to learn how to walk, and all the adults around them already know how to walk. So when they fall and they look up, they're looking for some confirmation. Right? So if you meet them with the, yeah, that's right. Great job. Yes. Yeah, that's right. I want to share another powerful place I learned the word yes from. And that was my days working with Tony Robbins. And if you know Tony or his events, he has on his first kind of breakthrough event. It's called Unleash the Power Within. On the first night, he has all the participants, and usually out of 10,000 people, everyone but 5 do it or something ridiculous, some kind of ridiculous number. And so all the participants at this event will walk over a bed of hot coals. They'll walk on fire. After knowing Tony only for a few hours and only being there for a few hours, you got all these people walking over a bed of hot coals. Now there's one word that they're practically chanting the entire time they're walking from inside the arena to outside to the parking lot where the fire is, and that's the word yes. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. You condition the word yes into your kids. Yes, yes. When opportunities come their way, they have the courage to say yes. They're conditioned to say yes when it feels good. On the other side, when we're running the fire lanes and we're helping successfully get people over there, we're constantly saying to them, yes, you've got it, that's right. Yes, you've got it, that's right. Yes, you've got it, that's right. In fact, this one time, I hadn't been around Tony's world for 4 or 5 years after my daughter was born. Kind of went on a hiatus, and then I came back. And the person who ran the crew, Lauren, she didn't know that I had been gone for so long, or maybe she did. I don't think so, because she was running her line. She was in charge of all these strangers getting over the hot coals without getting burnt, right? And she left and said, Bono, that's what a lot of folks call me, Bono, step in. And I didn't want to step in. I wasn't confident that I could do it, but I was in this environment of yes, 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 yes. So that's what I heard and felt in me, in my body, and in my mind. It overpowered any of the other negative self-talk. So just always say yes. How long has this video been? Oh my gosh, 20 minutes. Just always say yes to your kids. Oh, it's so beautiful. I can just keep going. Should I keep going? Yes, I should. I should just keep going. Reserve the no's for the important things. Yes, yes, say yes. You can say yes to anything. Dad, can we go to Disneyland today? Yes! I think that's a great idea. You're not saying yes to going to Disneyland. You're not saying yes to doing anything a child wants. But you're saying yes to their idea. You're saying yes to them asking and requesting something from someone. You're saying yes to, I'm listening to you. And we're so quick to say, no, it's closed. No, it's a school night. We're saying no. Don't keep asking things. No, don't keep using your creative ideas. No, don't keep thinking. No, don't keep asking questions out loud. No, don't keep requesting things from people. It's like the Mexican jumping flea metaphor I often use. I don't even know if this thing is real or not, but apparently there's this flea. It's really powerful. It can jump 100 times its height and carry 100 times its weight. And if you put it in a jar, it'll jump right out. You put it in a jar, they'll jump right out. But if you put it in a jar and put a lid on it, it'll try to jump out. And it'll hit its head on the lid and fall back down. So it'll keep jumping out, like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 times, 50 times. Maybe one of them will even go 100 times. But eventually, it'll hit its head so many times on the top, it'll learn I can't get out. There'll be this lid on it. It'll learn I can't get out. The fascinating thing and terribly sad thing and scary thing for me as a father and for us as parents is that that lid is like a no, right? It's like a no. And if our kids, did I tell you about what happens? Oh, with the fleas, eventually you take the lid off and the fleas will never try to get out again because they've learned what happens eventually when they keep getting the no, when they keep hitting, they'll eventually quit and they'll never, ever try to get out again. And it breaks my heart to think about ever doing that to a child. My kids, or the kids I work with when I'm running summer camps, your kids, it breaks my heart. We right now need to be a planet full of yeses. Planet full of yes. How can we do that? Yes. I see what you're trying to go after there. Maybe let's redirect you a little bit to this way. Yes, that's a great idea. Let's paint, let's draw all over the brand new painted wall in our living room. Yes, that's a great idea. Although I don't feel really good about having crayon all over our living room wall. So maybe, what if we took one of your walls in your bedroom or painted a wall outside with the chalk paint or white eraser paint, or just gave you a wall to paint and do whatever you want with it? Yes. Yeah. When we stop saying no and we start saying yes, we as parents will dive deeper into our own creative power. It forces us to dive even deeper into understanding what is it that the person we want to say no to is really looking for. That builds a relationship with your kids that money can't buy. It builds a relationship with your kids that the most sexiest and glamorous and wonderful vacations in the world can't buy. It builds a relationship with your kids that no amount of saying yes to television can buy. I love to say yes to my kids. It's one of my favorite things to do and to find a way. And probably my proudest moment as a dad ever was reading that homework assignment from my daughter and seeing that it worked and that it impacted her. It'll be a pain in the ass one day because your kids will negotiate with you in very powerful ways because they'll learn to always look for the yes. So there'll be some growing pains, especially if you start off early with them. They'll really be conditioned to always look for the yes. There'll be some growing pains when they get older and they realize, oh, I can speak up a lot more, and I've got my own rockets of desire that don't include my dad's or my mom's, and so I'm going to negotiate. Yeah, but Dad, what if we did this? Yeah, but Dad, we could do this. Oh yeah, Dad, I have an idea. And it'll never stop. And I love that. Because they'll continue that with their relationships. They'll continue that in school projects. They'll continue that when it comes time to deciding on what kind of career to take or how to make money in their life. They'll find cures for diseases. They'll invent new things. My son once told me, he said to me, Dad, can I go to outer space? I said, yes. Here's what it takes in order to do that. Sometimes we have our own limitations. I've been spending some time with a wonderful man by the name of Kyle Cease. He talks about how infinite we are. It's one of the gifts he's giving me, is reminding me of my infiniteness. Saying yes to our children affirms and confirms and reinforces the infiniteness of life. My own fears tell me no. My son, I don't have what it takes to parent my kid in a way to become an astronaut, and that's got to be really hard. And holy cow! And I don't can't imagine creating a schedule that lets him study to get good enough grades to get him into the right school to get him into NASA. I don't know. I don't know. But if my son says, "Dad, can I be an astronaut?" My answer is yes, because my answer is always yes. Yes. Here's what needs to happen in order for you to be an astronaut. And then we leave the door open for an infinite amount of possibilities. And what's so beautiful and humbling is that as parents, we often think that we know what our kids are asking for. And a lot of times, it's not what they're asking for. So even though my son said, "Dad, um, can I be an astronaut?" I said, yes. In his brain, he might not really want to be an astronaut. He might have seen a movie on TV, and what he really wants to do is just have the opportunity to float and be gravitationalists or whatever. Which, for $150, we can go to a local fair and throw him in a tank or something and give him that opportunity. So when I say yes to him, he's still got this infinite possibility, and who knows how the universe works and what it's going to give to him. So let's not be the barrier that says no to our kids. Behind me is my daughter's bed that I really wanted to say no to. We were decluttering the room, and I was going to flip her bed over because it could be either a loft bed or a bed with like a canopy. And I was getting ready to flip it over, and so I turned it up on its side, and she was like, "Wait, Dad, can we leave it like that?" And I want to be like, "No, what are you talking about? That's not how a bed is supposed to be." But I have this rule that I always look for the yes, and so I just was like, By the way, if you can't figure out how to say yes right away, just say, tell me more about that. What is it you're wanting to do? This way you don't say no. So I did that, like, and then she kept telling me what she wanted to do. She had this idea. She wanted to use those racks, the wood planks in there to hang her clothes. And she wanted to have like a private dressing room back there around. And I want to say yes to my kids because maybe my daughter now, after having this experience, will learn a love and a passion for being some kind of engineer or um, designer or just solve problems for people in other ways. I'm teaching her there's always a way and to always look for the yes. And I love that. I love that. So I hope you love it too, because it'll make a world of a difference in yourself and how you feel, and in your children, in the world that they experience, and in your relationship. Have an amazing day. I challenge you, I invite you, I encourage you to look for the yeses today. Go out there, say yes to other people, but mostly say yes to yourself and say yes to your kids. Yeah. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Adios.